Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. You are tuned in to the Mind of an Entrepreneur IG Live today, and we're going to be talking about mental strategies to help you navigate the world of business. And our guest today is Young Khan the Don, or Young Don the Khan. We got to get to the bottom of what this name is. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, greetings, greetings. While we're waiting on Young Khan or Young Don, whichever one it is, Brother Damon, while we're waiting on him, I just wanted to remind you all, go out, get your Sajda House commemorative coins. You can go to sajdahouse.com, put in the discount code HEM4847. You'll get them for $375. I will pin that in. You can also listen to past episodes of the Mind of an Entrepreneur show by clicking the link in the bio. So let's see, we are going to pin this website in so that you all can go out and get your commemorative Elijah coins. There we go. Got that one done. And okay, so we pinned that, and then the discount code is HEM, and the HEM is all caps, 4847. Okay, so let's see who we got out here. Somebody, Fresh Prince of SC, said, "What's up, sister?" Nia Purpose, Assalamu alaikum. I saw Brother Lamont. I saw Vanessa, peace and blessings. Let's see. So y'all come on in, come on in. We're just waiting on Young Khan the Don right now. That is him right there, and he's going to request to join us, and we're going to bring him on. We're going to get to the bottom of this name. Is it Young Don or Young Khan? We're also going to talk about mental strategies and some of the mindset adjustments and changes and practices that he has to help him become a successful entrepreneur. So Young Khan, if you can request to join us, there we go. And we're going to be bringing him in. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Alita. Real humble, I see you. There go the Young Khan or Young Don. I don't know which one it is. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Damon.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm fine. You made it.
I was just in a conference call, a coaching call, that I told them, look, I love y'all, but I can't talk right now. I got to go because the mighty Sister Mo, the mighty Sister Sajda Muhammad herself has invited me to her august platform, so I got to talk to y'all later. They understood, but man, it is a great honor. Before we even get started, I have to say that I'm very proud of you and impressed by you and all of the work that you have done. You know, we go way back. You know me when I had hair on the top of my head.
I knew you when you had hair and the red, black, and green beads.
Come on now. I graduated. I went from red, black, and green to all
Come on now. That's what we do, right?
Pyrite and all this kind of stuff. So, but I just wanted to share that with you because a few years ago, I came across the work that you were doing in the hospitals and great real estate work and just so much that you were doing. And I said, man, first of all, I couldn't believe it. I could believe it.
What? Wait, what?
I could believe it, but I couldn't believe it because I know where you came from with being in the trenches and grinding. It was just like it was a matter of the opportunity and the alignment that we needed to make individually and collectively to receive the blessings for all of the hard work and sacrifice that we've done. I know it's like a super long intro, but I'm so full.
No, that's fine.
Hey, y'all better get ready. That's all I can tell y'all. It's going to be the Mind of Entrepreneurs for real today. So
that's right, Brother Damon.
I just wanted to say that.
No, I thank you. I appreciate that. You know, we don't often have a lot of people that say those things to us. So I think it's important that we say it to one another. Because we have to be our own community and our own support system. So I was watching, I think I came across something and you were giving some tips. I was like, come on, Brother Damon, with the tips. And it was like right on point. And I felt the same way. And I you know, when you came to Saj the House with Brother Ben and Brother Winston, I told you, I'm just proud of you and I'm happy for you. And I want to get, first of all, is it Young Don or Young Khan? Please explain that, because we all confused.
Well, it is actually Young Khan, the Don.
Okay.
And Khan is, of course, I wanted to be the rap version of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I say he's the big Khan and I'm the little Khan. At least I could be the minister in the world of rap. So I was inspired by him.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brother Ben just corrected me. It was Brother Winford. I called him Brother Winston. You ain't even helped me, Brother Damon.
I didn't even see it.
You see that, Brother Ben?
I saw Brother Ben creeping here. You know, Brother Ben is on his post and doing his job, and I'm thankful to Almighty God Allah for him because he was able to come with that key to help me to unlock the God within me. So I will be forever indebted to that brother and just to be by his side in this time and helping him in the way that Allah is blessing me to do it. I'm just honored beyond words and thankful that I still have the spirit, a double portion of the spirit that I've had since the day that I walked in the door. So, but that's why I got the name. I took the name Khan because it also means ruler. And every great person in history that had the name Khan, they've had a deep impact on the world. All morning. And every time he calls, I tell him I'm in a meeting. But he's calling me from Africa for something. So I'm going to get back to him and find out what that's about. But that's where the Khan part comes from. And the Don comes from, Don means teacher. And that's something that I accept that I've always been able to do and have been called to do. And so I wanted a rap name that actually represented me and personified who I was. And so I came up with that. I know the Don has like a double meaning in the street or in that underworld. If you're a Don, you make it to Don status. Man, you want some gangster stuff. But
you just said a mouthful because, first of all, I can bear witness to you being a teacher. And I believe that that is your calling. You've always been a phenomenal teacher ever since I've known you. And you teach now. And so to see you discovering and accepting your authenticity and probably what you showed up on the planet to do, but then monetizing it. See, what happens with a lot of us, we know what we're supposed to do, but we don't know how to monetize it.
Yes, ma'am.
See, and what happens to us when we live in this world, both our culture and our authenticity are monetized by somebody else.
That's right.
Somebody else takes control. It's just like with the Messenger's homes. Other folks want to monetize our story and our culture. And they know that if they can get their hands on that, then they can change the narrative and make millions of dollars. So for you, whenever a person can figure out how to not only discover, but to monetize their authenticity, the sky's the limits. So you just got to keep riding that wave because that's what you've always been as a rapper. And some people like rapper, wait, what? So
well, you know, you were there, and I'm glad we're on this platform. We can reveal to some and clarify for others. Because we know that you and I go back with being in the group Soldiers at War, you on the administrative side, me being an artist. Shout out to all the Soldiers at War and 5-star General James. But I want you at some point, if you don't mind, to just kind of dig into it because you were there when I wasn't. But there was this meeting that took place with, what's his name? Craig? No, Mike Karen.
Mike Karen.
From Atlantic Records. There was a meeting that took place concerning our group, and the focus became myself to what I understood that he wanted to sign me for $11 million. He didn't want the group. He only wanted me. And it would take you to tell it from your perspective because you were actually in the meeting and I wasn't. So could you give me a little insight from your perspective?
Yeah, that happened to me twice, Brother Damon. Once with you in presenting Soldiers at War to Atlantic Records, same thing, Atlantic Records, and them wanting to pull you out for $11 million. And then the same thing with Triple Darkness and them wanting to pull Hanius out for $15 million.
Wow.
So that happened to me actually twice. And you all were both in a group. And of course, what they don't often understand is that the group is the support system. You can pull one person out, but you know what happens then after that.
Right.
But yes, in that case, lyrically, you were superior. Presentation wise, you were superior. Not to say that the other people with you weren't great, but they wanted you.
That's the word. That's what they said. Now that's what I heard.
That's what they wanted you, and they were serious about it. Like I said, same thing with Triple Darkness when they wanted Hanius. They came back to me actually when I later presented Triple Darkness to them, and they said we'll take them. They wanted both of y'all.
Oh, again
but I couldn't deliver because something was going on with Hanius, and he wasn't available in mainstream society, and so right. I couldn't deliver.
And that's really something. When I joined and became a student of Brother Ben with his digital real estate and Dr. Jake Taylor Jacobs with their program of the ABS Tribe. When I joined, after my first call, Brother Ben called me and he said, "So what'd you think about, what you experienced on the call?" And I shared a few thoughts with him. And I asked him, I said, "Well, based on what you have learned of me so far and all of the abilities that you see that I possess, what do you think I should be doing and using this digital real estate?" And he said, "I'd just like to see you do more teaching." And I'm going to just be honest. I was kind of agitated by that. And I'm like, teaching? I've been teaching for 30 years. What do you mean teaching? Where's the digital real estate? Where's all this online stuff? But I said, I submitted. I said, You want me to teach? Teaching it is. I say, that's easy for me to do. So I'm just turning this camera on and I'm going to go back in my teaching bag. And now I'm going to teach without, for lack of better words, I don't want to say restriction, but I would say without certain confines. I would just be
Brother Damon,
to do myself. Yes, ma'am.
No, but restriction is real because what happens is we restrict ourselves. Right? We can't control nothing but ourselves.
Right.
Right. And so we restrict ourselves to fit in a certain package or a certain mold or to satisfy certain people that we want to win their favor.
That's true.
And so now you're teaching and you're letting go of favor.
That's right.
Because you know that the ultimate favor is with Almighty God Allah. And sometimes it takes us time to realize that can't nobody bless us like Allah can.
You teaching now.
Can't nobody come for us like Allah can.
That's right.
And so when we're in our baby stages of development and we're polytheistic and we're idol worshipers, right? Because that's what it is.
That's right.
You gotta call it what it is. It's being polytheistic and an idol worshiper. We are not able to walk into our full purpose. It's there. You get glimpses of it, but we can't walk into it. That's why we can't monetize it. And now, when you look to please nobody but Allah, see, because he came, and you know this, I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm just saying this to you. He came to make himself known, Brother Damon.
That's right.
So if he came to make himself known, he chooses certain people to deposit himself in. But instead of worshiping him, we're idol worshipers.
That's right.
We're ego worshipers. We're polytheistic. polytheist.
That's right.
So now he's like, he can't really give you, or even on another level, he can't express what he wanted to express when he made you.
That's right. You teaching now.
So he brought you here because he has something he wanted to say. He made you look a certain way because it was something about the way you looked that expressed something that he wanted to express. It was something about the sound of your voice, the way you teach, what you learn, how you came in. And we both have to give a great shout out to the great brother Yusuf Muhammad.
That's right.
Who nurtured both of us. And for brother Yusuf, who looked like, to most people, a basic, docile, maybe kind of brother, when you look at the soldiers he produced.
That's right.
Some of the greatest soldiers in the world.
That's right.
You're one of them. He produced that.
That's right.
From his old country self, bouncing his shoulders. And I know you and your imitations. I know you're going to give me a brother Yusuf imitation in a minute. But when I left to go to Chicago, brother Yusuf said to me, he said, look for Allah in everything.
Yes, ma'am.
And those little jewels that he would drop. And the way that I don't care what you say, but the way he was able to keep those doors open when every other mosque was closed.
That's right.
And for those of us who came through those doors that he kept his foot in, we're blessed. We're blessed. And so it makes sense. It makes sense that you would be teaching and that brother Ben would say, I want to see you do more teaching. It's just a matter of you just tweaking it and adjusting it to the different subject matter. But that's what you came here to do. You've been doing it since I knew you, since you had hair in the red, black, and green beads.
And it's so powerful because when I saw Brother Ben, and because I love this word so much in the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when I first laid eyes on him, I saw myself in him. The younger, he possessed the spirit that I had as a young Muslim coming up. So when I saw him online, I reached out to him. I didn't know who he was. But I had no idea about his social media presence, that he was what the world knows as the great Brother Ben. I just saw a young soldier, and I was like, man, I wish that somebody could have guided me at that stage of my development to have catapulted me further than where I am. So I reached out to him and said, brother, I gave him my little background and my resume, so to speak, on who I was and what I do. And I just told him in any way that I could help him, he could call on me at any point. And so that's how our relationship developed. I was fishing and didn't even know I was fishing him in while he fishing me in. But we got together and it was a perfect marriage. But when I saw him and got in touch with his program, I told him after my first meeting, I said, brother, I want you to listen to me closely. I said, I've been studying these teachings for some decades. And I said, from my perspective, I said, God himself is going to fulfill his promise of money, good homes, friendship, and all walks of life through you. He brought you here to fulfill his word of blessing the believers on the condition that we submit. And I said, as far as I am concerned, you are the God of the digital world. And I am the Elijah of that digital world whose eyes came open to who you are. And he laughed it off. He said, I don't know about all that. I said, brother, you watch what I tell you. And within 1 year, God made him a millionaire. And now he's freeing up other people because he's being true into what God has made him, which is helping me to become who God wants me to be, and inspiring and motivating other people. And you know that God prepares us, Sister Saja, to do the work that we are doing. You didn't just accidentally be able to do what you're doing, but it's because of your faith and your steadfastness and your willingness to work in his cause that he's magnetizing you. He's magnetizing me. That we are able to touch people all over the world that we don't even know that we are touching. But it's no work of a worker is wasted by God. And I touched on that, being able to teach, and you corrected me about being restricted, because you know me, that I've always been a team player from the day that I walked in the door. All I wanted to do was help. I didn't have no ego. I didn't have no car. I didn't even know how to drive when I came.
I remember
learned how to drive from Brother Aziz Muhammad. I learned how to be a soldier, and I was committed then, as I am committed now, to go after our people. And when you mention that God has each of us to do a specific thing, we search all of our lives looking everywhere else except where it really is. And when you said that he came to make himself known, he didn't come to make nobody else known. He came to make himself known. So if we are to follow him, we have to make ourselves known. And how can we better do that than by manifesting and doing the work that he called us to do? And it is only when we align ourselves with what he called us to do. And all of us instinctively know.
Right.
Nobody has to tell us really deep down in our soul, in the quiet of our mind, what we're here to do. But
a lot of us are just scared, Brother Damon. And the thing is that we're scared because, like I said, what makes us weak is idol worshiping, polytheism, and ego worshiping. It makes us weak. So you can't stand up. So yes, Allah came to make himself known. So we have to lift his name.
That's right.
We have to lift his name. And so when you start talking about the business world and making money in the business world, how do you lift his name? Because you may not be able to go into business circles and say, well, I'm a student of Master Father Muhammad. I'm a follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You might not be able to do that. So the question is, how do you continue to lift the names? Well, first of all, you got to know these teachings.
That's right.
You got to know them. And you got to make it your way of life, so that as you're moving through the business world, as you're developing policies, procedures, having meetings, you're weaving that way of life into whatever it is that you do. That's right. And people then will become attracted to that way of life, and they won't know why.
You are absolutely correct.
I just like being around you. You'll catch some fish that you would not have caught if you did it a different way.
That's right.
So now those people are coming to you, and you're aligning them with the spirit of Allah and of our teachings and of the civilization. You're aligning them with that. So now guess what? When they hear it, they can't really reject it.
That's right.
Because now it's all up in their crawl, their emotional crawl, if you will, because you've showed them another way. It's just a different approach.
And everybody, that's so interesting that you say that, because I can feel God magnetizing me in just being who I am. You know, that's how I teach you. Accept your own and be yourself. But we don't know how to be ourselves because nobody taught us that. But God himself has come and given us the teachings to where if we become students, like you said, you got to get into this word to unlock who you really are. And that is his greatest desire, that we all accept our own and just be who we are. You know, there's a part in our teachings that says, where God introduces himself and he says, my uncle, does not know that he is my uncle. I had to stop right there. I said, well, wait a minute. If this is the supreme being talking, and he says that his uncle does not know that he is his uncle, that means that God's brother, I'm sorry, if I'm his uncle,
You're his uncle.
I'm his uncle, that means his father is my brother.
Right.
Well, if God is your nephew, who are you?
Come on.
So he comes to show us an example of what we have the potential to rise to. This is why in the scriptures, Jesus said, greater works shall you do than what you see me do, because he comes as a sign of the greatness that is buried within each and every single one of us. And all we have to do is line ourselves up. And when you talk about being able to monetize it, God promised us money, good homes, friendship in all walks of life. He's prepared friends for us all over the world.
I bear witness.
As Sister Swerk Sabrina Kane says, your vibe attracts your tribe. He makes each one of us to appeal to a specific group of people, a specific demographic.
Right.
And the more we can align ourselves, that demographic begins to come and they are drawn to us. They, like you said, they don't even know what it is about us.
They don't know.
What they see in us is God coming forth, tapping in to the God within them. There are certain people on this earth that are only made to hear your voice.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about that, Brother Damon. When I wrote the first volume of the Mind of an Entrepreneur book, I wrote it for people like us, professionals, people who need mental strategies to guide themselves through the world of business, because I was doing work on myself, saying, okay, what do I need to fix emotionally? And I want to get into that a little bit about some of the things that you had to tweak within yourself. So I was doing that work, and I said, well, I've been blessed to have a lot of experiences.
That's right.
To be in and out of a lot of businesses, and a lot just start moving me around. And I'm like, what? Where? We going where? So when I wrote the book, I thought I knew who I was writing it for. But as it turned out, probably 80% of my supporters, my followers, the diehard Mind of an Entrepreneur people, you know who they are?
The regular people.
They under 21 years old.
Wow.
So I got the youth helping with Saj the House. We got a whole youth Saj the House table talks team. My assistant is 17 years old. I could go on and on and on. From helping with Sister Lisa with the National Training Conference. And I started seeing it with my nephews. And my nephews and all of their friends. And I said, okay, that's just because I'm auntie.
Right.
But then I started to realize I would meet sisters and brothers and they say, oh, my son loves you. My daughter loves you. And I'm like, but I don't work with children. And then I was at Savior's Day, I think 2015. They started running up on me asking for my autograph like I was Beyonce. And I said, you have to accept your tribe. Them is your babies.
That's right.
And so not that adults have not embraced it, but they have been the most diehard and the most supportive. And instead of rejecting that, I said, look, it is what it is. Probably the oldest is like Brother Ben in them age. Brother Ben and I have an agreement, auntie nephew agreement, but he's on the old side of my followers.
Wow.
Believe it or not. So I want to ask you a question, Brother Damon. What things did you have to work? Because you know this is about mental strategies. What did you have to work on? Where were you locked or paralyzed mentally and emotionally?
That's a great question. And I believe one of the more difficult things that I had to do was actually, believe it or not, believe that I could do it.
So your worthiness or your belief system?
It was belief system.
Okay.
And I believed that I was worthy, but I didn't believe that I could do it in and of myself because I was so used to being supporting cast.
So you didn't think you could take the lead or be by yourself?
Right, because
Okay.
I've never had to function in that type of capacity. I've always been a good person that says, well, what do you need me to do? Or how can I help? I was good at taking instructions.
And
But
so how
I
did you
didn't
get
know.
past that? What did you do to get yourself past that?
Believe it or not, I went to prison.
I
So
didn't know that, Brother Damon.
I went to prison for selling bootleg CDs and movies.
They arrest people for that?
Absolutely. Look.
I knew y'all was gonna get in
Look.
trouble. That's why I never bought that bootleg.
Look, wait a minute, story time. So here I am. I never been locked up before. I'm 41 years old. I'm on tour with Snoop Dogg as his personal security. I get a call from the FBI because they had raided our little bookstore that we had in Gary because I was selling movies out of the back of the bookstore. Had me a little burner, just trying to make a couple of, a little extra money to feed my family. That's really what it was because it was hard, like you said, us not walking in our purpose. And so while I was on the road, the FBI raids the bookstore. They take my little burners. I had about 1,500 movies. It's over with now, but this is
So
what
that
happened.
warning on the front of the movie is real.
It say, look here, fool. We will catch you and we will lock you up and you're going to have to pay up to $250,000. The FBI told me, they said, we know you knew it because we put it on the front of every movie and you can't fast forward it and you can't go past it. So we know that you know. And they drilled me and asked me how much I was making. I said, well, to be honest, I was only getting about $100 or $200 extra a week.
They said, like lying.
They say, yeah, well, that's about right. But they wanted to use me because of, like you said earlier, all of the different circles and people I was blessed to be around, celebrities and politicians. And they said, well, is any of this money going to the minister? Or we know you know something on some dirty cops in Gary. Or what do you know about the mayor? Can you tell us something about Snoop Dogg? I said, well, y'all know all that stuff better than me. I don't have nothing to say about none of these people. And ain't no money going to the minister from what I do. Well, where's the money for the bean pies going? And I said, they made me mad at that point. I said, if y'all don't stop that, and they said, the real thing we want you to do is cooperate with us. I say, well, I don't have nothing to cooperate with you about. And being that I've never been in trouble before, maybe the judge will have some mercy on me. So they called me to court. And because they couldn't use me in that way, the judge said, well, had you been doing drugs or alcohol, I could have just given you the drug program. But since you don't do drugs or alcohol, I sentenced you to 18 months in the federal prison. So it was
for movies,
for CDs and movies. I said, good God Almighty. So
and you're an artist.
I did all my research the same way I've been researching the teachings. Now I got to research going to prison. So I'm trying to Google it, see if I can see the locations. I'm watching Lock Up Raw. So I'm going through all these internal changes in my mind of how to prepare to go to prison. But when I got there, I felt, believe it or not, Sister Sajda, I felt this relief when I got there. And I said, one part of me, after I got over the shock that I was there, another part of me said, finally, I have time for me. I have time to reflect, and it's probably going to bring tears right now. And I don't normally do this, but it made me think about me.
Yes, yes, yes.
because we
How valuable
spend
you are.
so much time thinking about other people
Yes, sir.
that we hide. We hide behind our children.
Mm-hmm.
We hide behind a job. We hide behind school.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gave me time to think about me and what I wanted to do for a change,
Mm.
how I wanted to do it, why I wanted to do it. And it
Mm-hmm.
was in that prison that I felt this sigh and this sense of relief
Finally.
that I get a break.
Finally.
Because for 20 years straight, night and day, 24 hours a day, I was on my job.
No, let me correct you. Let me correct you. You were on somebody else's job, not Brother Damon's job.
Yes, ma'am.
And once Brother Damon was able to settle down, and all he had, Islam comes after all else fails.
That's right.
And all he had was what? Allah
That's it.
and himself.
And so it
And
was,
I don't know if it was you saying finally, if maybe it was Allah saying finally.
and you know, this is probably only the second time that I've shared tears publicly.
Mm-hmm.
But I sat in there and I just wrote out what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I said I wanted to record and write so many songs. I wrote 60 songs
Mm-hmm.
while I was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I said I wanted to come out and do something for the youth because
Mm-hmm.
that's my love, is teaching music and the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And within 2 weeks of being in the prison, they made me in charge of the Nation of Islam in the prison.
Of course.
So now I'm teaching the GDs, the vice lords, the dope dealers, the bank robbers. Now I got all them in the chapel. And they
Look at
report,
Allah.
now it's a different breed, but I'm the person to go to. I'm talking to the warden and to the chaplain. I'm keeping the brothers out of trouble. So I'm like, oh, here we go again, but it's a little different because I'm on the point now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to encourage the brothers, I would say, can we not go to the hole today? I'm a challenge out. So I'm in there teaching self-improvement. I'm getting study guides sent in. I'm getting the final calls brought in. We in there watching Savior's Day in the chapel. White people is coming in, watching, and I'm teaching and training them.
Mm.
I got a couple of brothers to write their letters. Crips and GDs was writing their Savior's letters in there. And
You walking in the footsteps of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I was reading his history of being in the prison while I was in prison. Yeah. And I said to myself, well, I know that after 20 years, this cannot be the end of the road for what he wants me to do. I said, it doesn't make sense to me to do all this work for 20 years and end up in prison. But I felt in retrospect that it was his way of realigning me.
I agree.
So I said that when I get out of prison, you know, right before you're about to walk out, they have you to do this analysis of yourself to see where you're weak and where you're strong and where you need to focus. And the place that I saw that I needed in this new way of living for me once I got out was education. Mm-hmm. So I said that I would go to school if I could because I didn't have any money. I'm 41 years old. Still broke. That's how I got in prison in the first place, not being able to adequately provide for myself or monetize myself in the right way.
Yes,
so
sir.
When I got out and got in the halfway house, there was a brother next to me, and he was going to Ivy Tech Community College. And I said, well, they let you go to school in here? He said, yeah, and they'll pay for it. I said, hold up, wait a minute. They will pay for me to go. Let me get this right. They gonna pay me to go learn, and I ain't got to pay it back. He said, no, sir, it's called a Pell Grant, and you might qualify. He took me upstairs, helped me create my email, and I took the little test online, and I qualified. Boom, I got out of that halfway house, and I enrolled in Ivy Tech in business administration. And as I sat in there, I knew I was advanced compared to all the other students. They thought that I was faculty. And all of the other faculty thought that I was faculty. Because I still was coming in my suit and tie every day, but I was still grinding. I started selling candy and chips. I was passing flyers out. Now imagine this, I'm passing flyers out, said, who needs a vending machine when you can come to Young Con to Don? So I'm selling snack bags, and they called me into the office at the college. And they said, we thought we was gonna see this little young guy, but you, Mr. Jones, you can't be selling all this stuff. I said, well, I find it ironic that I'm in school for business and to be an entrepreneur. And instead of encouraging me, you stifling me, telling me what I can't do on the campus. And when I gave that response, the chancellor said, well, you can't have your merchandise on display. I said, well, if I can't have my stuff on display, then the next person can't wear a Nike shirt. Because to me, that's soliciting business for Nike. And when I kept giving these responses, the chancellor looked at me and said, have you ever considered running for student government? I said, no, I haven't, but considering the overwhelming failure rate of Black males at this college, maybe I should look into that. And do you know, I applied and it became the head of the student government. So again, a lot keeps putting me in the front. And so I got my suit on and I'm being just as hood in my language because I know that I have to speak a certain language to attract a certain crowd. So I made them. I'm using the school budget to get shirts printed that says I'm about that life, B-A-T, not T-H-A-T. I'm about that life. I'm getting wristbands made. I'm getting video game trucks pulled up on the campus. I'm telling the people at the school, man, y'all want people to join this government body and it's boring. Don't nobody want to be up in here. And so
so what you did was really what all the brothers and sisters, you had skills, you just had the wrong product.
Absolutely.
So now you're transforming and using the transformative word and of your experience. See, because here's what happens, Brother Damon. I'm listening to you. You were praying for something. And that's between you and Allah. You were praying for it. And then Allah said, well, I want to give it to you, but you ain't ready. So here's an experience, beloved.
That's right.
That will help shape and mold you and get you ready for what I want to give to you.
And the funny thing is, Sister Saja, I didn't know it. But when I went to school for business administration, I realized that 95% of what I knew about business, they weren't teaching me.
Right.
But I was excelling without reading the books, whether it was business law, whether it was economics. I mean, I was whizzing past these classes. And then I would leave school and come home and watch shows like Marcus Lemonis, The Prophet. I would watch shows like Shark Tank. And I was getting more education from watching those shows than I was on the campus. But I discovered something, that I fell in love with business.
Right.
I fell in love with organizing and pricing and how to transform business the same way you transform human life. And it was then that I discovered that I was just as passionate about the teachings, rapping, and being an entrepreneur, a micro entrepreneur, as they call it, where you have 1 to 9 employees, that I was fascinated with going in myself to learn how to produce something from nothing. And that's the road that ultimately led me to Brother Ben. So it was the shift there in recognizing what I loved, because I didn't know. So first I had to accept myself. and
Mm-hmm.
focus on me
Mm-hmm.
and what I could do. Even though I didn't have the money, I didn't have the financial means.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew how to take $10 and turn it into 100, or take $100 and eventually turn it into 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got the school money, I bought this computer, and I still got this computer.
You still use it?
I still use this computer. I have other computers, but I kept this one
Mm-hmm.
because they paid me about $400. And I took 200, excuse me. I took 200 of the 400, and I went to the pawn shop and I bought
Mm-hmm.
this computer. I didn't even know how to use a computer, but I said, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna learn how to use this computer. I'm gonna learn how to navigate. And man, I've used this one computer to record, to design work, to write books on it. I've done a lot of things on this computer.
I'm
And I
so
got
proud of you, Brother Damon. You don't even know. You made me more proud of you than I would have even ever imagined. So I'm going to ask you a favor.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think we good for it. So you've been to the house. Listen, that house is being restored with a toothbrush. We are rebuilding it. I mean, and we're not throwing anything away. It's going to be so, inshallah, worthy of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the goal. And every part of my heart, soul, and fiber is into it. I've dealt with all kind of stuff. I'm not even going to go into it, but I want you to help me sell some coins.
Yes, ma'am.
This is an entrepreneurial endeavor. I
Okay.
took the old copper. Took me 4 months to find a foundry, because it's easy to get a coin made. You can just
I
go
know
online.
you told me before
I
you even
told you,
go
right?
any further. I said, I want one of them coins. I just said this about 3 days ago. I said, man, I'm going to get one of them coins, because that is from the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
That is from, to have a piece of that.
Yeah.
Is actually invaluable. And when Brother Ben and I and Brother Winford and we came, you showed it to us. You took it out of the envelope. You said, look at what I got coming.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and when I found out how much it cost, I said, oh, I got to get my weight up. But I said, I'm going to get, well, look. I said, I'm going to get one of those coins. And it means so much. Not only the sentimental value, but the actual value to know that you could have a piece of the home of the Christ.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just talking about no Donald Trump coins or
No.
Bush coins.
No.
No, we talking about a man that is literally transforming the entire universe.
Yes.
To be able to say, I have a piece of this, is such a major thing to be able to do from my vantage point as a believer. I don't care about what nobody else is talking about, but
no,
I know the value of it for me. So
Brother Damon, I thought about when you just said, this just came to me, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me to follow the thoughts that come in my head. Some say, ask Brother Damon, and for every 10 you sell, you get one.
Wow.
So we got a program going where you go to SajaHouse.com, you put in the discount code HEM4847, and I'll know, we'll just have to keep track. We'll find a way to keep track. But because of what you've gone through and what you've overcome, every 10 you get one. These will be priceless heirlooms. We got about 700 or so left. But you deserve, Brother Damon, because I know you. And I know how you have given of yourself. And yeah, we have things we have to work on. But for Allah to sit you down and put you in prison is painful.
Yes, ma'am.
That hurt me when you said that. But as soon as you said the words, finally, I said, oh, there's Allah.
Yes, ma'am.
There's Allah. He said, finally, because you have so much to offer. Don't feel like, it's you too old or you've been through too much or all of that. You got a lot to offer.
Oh, I feel like I know that when I met Brother Ben, that was to take me to the next phase of what he really got me here to do. And I said, oh, well, this makes sense. He had to give me some rest. I had to get some rest for this.
And give you a little spanking. Give you a little spanking.
And so when I looked back at it, I felt like that time was time that I needed. Not that I was being chastised, but that it was Allah's way of getting me out of the way, getting me to myself.
Yes.
To recalibrate me. And so when I joined Brother Ben's and Dr. J. Taylor Jacobs' tribe, the BWO and the ABS and digital real estate, I came in there and he said, well, you also have a chance to be an affiliate. I said, well, what's that? He said, well, that just means you sign some people up and then, you get a commission if you sign them up. I said, oh, you ain't got to, that's easy. And that day I signed up and I rose within 3 weeks. I became the #1 affiliate for them. And for the last 10 and a half months straight, I've been #1. And I've been blessed to impact so many people on that road that they told me that I just literally shot past everybody like a rocket. And all I was doing was just being my authentic self and trying to help us, going right back into that servant position. How can I help you to get signed up? Look, I'm just learning about it, but I know this is an opportunity, and people would just sign up. They said, oh, I like that brother. I like the way he's talking. See, now I understand him. God gave me a voice to reach a certain group, and that's what I'm going about my work to do. And in that, I'm being able now to monetize in ways that I never thought possible. I have books now. I got book #3 that I just came out with.
Come on, Brother Damon.
My own music streaming service, Icon Music on Demand, right? Where there is no middleman. You getting it direct from me. I'm able to coach people now. I'm a certified coach where people are paying me to teach them about mindset. Right? We're dealing with the mind of an entrepreneur. So these are the things. People think that it's about money, when money, as I say all the time, is a result.
Right. It's a result. It's a result.
Not, and that's the mistake that we make. The enemy has made us to focus on chasing money.
Well, that's one of the tenets of predatory capitalism, Brother Damon. Not only does somebody have to be dominant and somebody has to be subservient, the focus is on money.
That's right. And that's the fatal mistake. That focusing on money is the very thing that keeps you from getting it. Wherein if you focus on nurturing what God has you to do. I've heard this all the time. Just do what you love and the money comes. Anybody that's tried to study self-development, we've heard that hundreds, if not thousands of times, but we haven't tried it. Why? Because we don't immediately see the money come. So our faith dwindles sometimes.
Not only that, Brother Damon, not only because we don't immediately see the money come, but because we've been trained not to do it. See, part of the mind of an entrepreneur is retraining your mind.
90%.
That's right. Because the minute you get ready to do something, the program that's in your mind is a predatory capitalist program. And so what you're talking about is reprogramming your mind so something else becomes the stakeholder.
That's right.
Other than, so the money, we make no mistakes as conscious entrepreneurs in saying we love money. We love a lot of it. We got a lot of it. We plan on getting more of it because the money gives us choices.
That's
See,
right.
if all you're thinking about is money because I want to buy more stuff and I want to do this and this, That's how you've been trained. So I train people to say money is going to give you choices. Money is going to make it so you don't have to choose to do the burner CDs like Brother Damon did and go to prison. Money gives you choices so you can choose what doctor you want to go to.
That's right.
You can choose the zip code you want to live in. You can choose the food. You can buy better clothes. Money is choices, educational choices for your children, as opposed to being limited to the healthcare, the public system that the health, that the public the government gives you, or any of that. So it's the choices. And so part of what we're doing with the house, it's all kind of people offering us, I say we, us, but me, money for the house and money grants, but I don't want them to own and monetize our culture.
That's right. That's it.
I said, dear Holy Apostle, I know it's some in here that I can do to help us to continue to move forward, raise money, whatever I got to do, I'm gonna go do it. And so then when I came up with the coins, the challenge was finding somebody to do the coins. Then the challenge was finding somebody to help sell the coins. But every step of the way, I'm just listening to Allah. And it's like, there it is right there. Go right there. Do this right here. Ask Brother Damon. Brother Damon's a great salesperson. Give him 1 for every 10.
And
because
look,
the next
I'm sorry, it's somebody on here already that is claiming the first one.
Is it? I missed it.
Real black hair. Sister Cordelia is her name. She says she's going to buy one. So that's going to be my first one.
That's your first
It's funny because Brother Ben, before I came, Brother Ben said, if I had the right person that could get this program over to the people, and a month later, I joined.
Yeah.
And
well, I just said that.
That I could do it the way that I was to let somebody in the comments say he's doing it already. And
there you go.
But I'm not even trying to do it.
That's the point I'm making, Brother Damon, because my job is I got to spend time listening to Allah so that I can be clear on the way he wants this done. I got to tune into the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I said, I need, just like I needed an assistant and I got Sister Kudisa, I need somebody to sell these, because if I'm focused on selling,
you can't do what you're supposed to do.
That's my gift, is receiving that information from them and being a conduit.
Yes, ma'am.
And then putting it back out. So he told me, do the coins. I did it. So just like Brother Ben, now we both saying, okay, who can we get to push this for us?
And in order to be able, see, people think that selling, Sister Saja, is to tell people to buy.
Yeah.
But it's not. Selling is telling people why.
Mm-hmm.
And when you just tell your story, people buy from you because they have bought into you.
That's right. You've already touched them.
That's why we on the way that we do, because we bought into him. So it does not matter what he puts in front of us, because we trust him. We love him. We would give our last for him because he has proven to be a man of authenticity, a man that is for the people. And that's what this coin is about.
I'm a stop us, because I don't want Instagram to cut us off. I want us to be able to play this over, because your story is phenomenal. I'm gonna call you right after this so we can get this set up.
Yes, ma'am.
And get started. And then we can go into more detail. Look at that. People calling like about the coin. I'm be like, look, call Brother Damon.
If y'all call Sister Side, y'all just say, Brother Khan sent me here to get this coin.
That's right.
So she can keep a record if anybody on this call wants to get it.
I already know. Sister Aletha just put it in the chat. I already know that these last 700, that for every 10 is going to be yours. I already know you're going to get the 70 coins. I'm already knowing that. So don't sell 700, sell 630.
Yes, ma'am.
Cause them 70 gonna be yours. I'm gonna be giving you sleeves, and they come in these sleeves. I'm just gonna bring you the sleeves. It's 2 sleeves. It's 35 in each sleeve. And and the way you being blessed and how much these coins are gonna be worth soon, shortly, is gonna be amazing. And you deserve it, Brother Damon. So let's talk real quick right after this. Everyone, listen, contact Brother Khan. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna put out something for you. But thank you, Brother Damon, for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
We're gonna have to do a part 2.
We're gonna do a part 2. Okay. I'm gonna call you right now. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Peace.